Hey guys, I'm Justin with VMP Performance. Today I want to show you our VMP Ultimate Pulley Removal and Installation Tool. We're going to show you how to take off the stock Supercharger pulley and then install an aftermarket Supercharger pulley. Let's get to it. So this is the heart of our VMP pulley toolkit. This is the clamshell. This grips the Supercharger pulley without damaging it. This is what we call the square bar. This allows you to apply force to the shaft of the Supercharger and pull the pulley off. Got a nice little hardware kit here. It's going to have everything in it you need. Got the installation bolt for later, the big bolt for removal, and then the bearing. That's also for installation later on. There's this little plastic plug in the front of the Supercharger. Usually if you can just kind of get a grip on it, you can spin it out. Now what I'm going to do next is get the clamshell bolted on. Clamshell's threaded on one side and unthreaded on the other side. We take these big 1/2-inch bolts, go like this, drop them in there, thread them. If you've got a socket, that makes things a little bit easier. When you're putting the clamshell onto the pulley, you want to make sure that it's not crooked. And these bolts don't have to be tight, they just got to be snug. Next up, I'm going to put the big bar on. The big bar is held by these two long 3/8 bolts, and you put these washers on them first. This helps to spread out the load. Preferably you want to use this side facing forward that has a little bit of a chamfer on it. This makes the tool hold up better if you go to use it a second time. Now the slots in the big bar are to help count for different size pulleys. If you just let the threads bottom out by themselves, then both sides are going to be equal distance and the pulley is going to pull off squarely. This is where it helps to grab the grease packet, open it up, and squeeze a little bit of grease onto the pin in the big bolt and also onto the washer. This just really helps to avoid any damage to the threads in the Supercharger. When you go to remove this thing, and you guys will see what I mean, there's a lot of force on this whole assembly here. So a little bit of grease into these threads just helps everything come off more smoothly and work a little bit better. So you want to make sure the pin on the big bolt goes into the Supercharger shaft and lines up. Once you get that all snug, you can use a wrench and an extension to hold it, or this is what I like to do if you have this tool available, an air impact. And that's it, she's off. It's a little bit warm, so be careful. So now we got the pulley off, we're going to break this down. You guys can see that the pulley came off without any damage to it or anything. It's still straight and square and it can be used again. Some of the other tools out there, they pull on the back of the pulley and that can sometimes bend the edge and stuff. So this tool keeps your stock parts in good condition in the event you ever want to return to stock. This is our washer. Hold on to it for next time. Now in the little parts bag there was an M8 threaded set screw. This actually threads into the end of the installation tool. You'll feel it bottom out, just kind of get it snug. Next, you want to put the nut on. So now that we've got the nut installed far enough on the installation bolt, I'm going to put the bearing on. This tool works by threading into the supercharger, and I'm doing this without the pulley installed just so you guys can see how it works. So it's really important that when you're using this installation tool, you get the bolt tight to where it's butted up with the supercharger shaft. And then at that point, what you're trying to do to install it is to actually spin the nut on. Initially, it's really important that you're just spinning the nut on the shaft. Now we're going to take this apart and show you with a real pulley on it. We got our pulley installation tool set up. We got our new pulley. Go ahead and start like this. And put this in here, and we're going to get that set screw to thread all the way into the supercharger shaft. So now that that's all snugged up, you can grab your wrenches. Start by holding the installation bolt and then tightening the nut. The nut's what's going to do all the work to push the pulley onto the supercharger shaft. The bearing lets it rotate freely without binding. Once you feel it start to tighten up, you can basically let the ratchet do the work for you. When the pulley gets close to being on all the way, you want to loosen everything up, back the nut off, and see if you've bottomed out on the shaft. And actually, that's perfect. Pop the plastic push pin back in the center. Make sure our supercharger pulley rotates freely, and we're done. Hey guys, thanks for following along on how to use our VMP Ultimate Pulley Removal and Installation Tool. You can check it out on our website, www.vmpperformance.com.